Romeo Pupco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. We're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. Go online right now and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Time for Inbox, your email questions answered here on video by us. Let's get right to it. And a question from Terry. Terry says the 2013 Sooners remind me somewhat of the 1970 Sooners. They struggled all year and even struggled at the Bluebonnet Bowl against Alabama, ending in a tie. And we all know what happened in 1971.
Well, it's actually an interesting little comparison, Terry. Now, there's some major differences. 1970, as you said, OU tied that Bluebonnet Bowl against Alabama. Wasn't great, but were impressive enough to make Bear Bryant switch to the wishbone. And Alabama was great for the rest of the decade. But I would say that in 1970, the Sooners played very well down the stretch, almost upset Nebraska that went on to win the national title. But this OU team in 13 went to Stillwater and did knock OSU out of the Big 12 title. So I think the 13 Sooners played better, more reason for optimism. However, the 14 Sooners are going to have to really excel to match the 71 Sooners.
No doubt about it. But you know what? There's a lot of reasons for optimism with this bunch. And, you know, obviously it starts with Trevor Knight. My big question is he going to be able to finish all these games he's going to start? Because he's the guy. He hasn't finished as many games as he started in his career, been knocked out by injury in several of these games. Is health going to be an issue? Because it looks like to me that they're going to have the pieces around him. You've got some young guys at receiver, but they're talented. Young guys in the backfield, running back, but Joe Mixon's a guy that I think has a lot of people excited along with those returning guys. Defense looks solid, although replacing some areas. You like what they're bringing back. So you see lots of reasons for optimism. My big question is Trevor Knight. Will he be able to finish all those games that he got knocked out of this last year? All right, from Eric out of the inbox says, just curious if you've heard any discussion concerning the College Athletes Players Association as to what impact it could have on college athletics. Eric obviously referring here to the unionization of the football players at Northwestern University.
Well, I mean, it could have a profound impact if actually a union takes hold somewhere, or if schools in fear do some collective bargaining or some concessions. But in terms of the union, how will this affect Title IX? How will this affect taxation? How will this affect the workload of students? Those are all the big questions, and nobody has the answers. I think this will fall short of unionization, but I do think that college athletes are due for some concessions. I think they're going to get a better playing field, if you will, in terms of working and living conditions, whether it's a stipend, whether it's summers more free, those kinds of things. I think you will see some fallout from this decision.
Well, and you wrote about this issue this last week, Barry, and I think one of the things that I'm most excited to see is the chance for athletes to have insurance that covers them fully by the university. As you mentioned, you know, if an athlete gets hurt, their insurance kicks in. They have to pay a deductible before the university kicks in. To me, that seems ridiculous. If you're playing for a team, that should be covered by the team. I think those are the sorts of things that, and that to me, Barry, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like that's the thing Northwestern and those guys most want is not necessarily a paycheck, but some of those sorts of things.
They just want better working conditions.
Right, definitely. All right, back to the inbox from Danny. Danny says, we would all like to see Travis Ford be successful. Unfortunately, it appears he can't coach. I defended the guy for a long time with hope he could turn things around, but can't do it anymore. The only plan the guy had for Gonzaga was where they were eating after the game. Well, Danny's funny at least, Barry.
It's a good line. I tell you, you know, Travis Ford himself would admit, hey, this season didn't go the way that he wanted it or the way he planned it. And frankly, it was not a great coaching year for Travis Ford. So I think the pressure's on Ford. He knows he has to produce. Next season won't be much expected out of OSU. They'll be picked in the second division of the Big 12. However, there's reason for optimism. I think there's a pretty good talent left on campus. I think some good talent's coming in. Sometimes when teams lose a marquee player like Marcus Smart, they rally and are even better without him. We'll see what happens with OSU, but definitely the pressure's on Travis Ford next season.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And you know what? He wants to win as bad as fans want him and his team to win. I think that is safe to say, because I don't think he likes this whole idea that Fans are upset that they're not getting where they want to get. I think he wants to get to the Final Four and contend for a national championship just like everybody else who's in that OSU fan base wants to do. Now, I think it's going to be interesting to see when they get Michael Cobbins back and some of these guys that are projected to come in and fill some roles. When you see guys playing more natural positions, you see Kamari Murphy move back to the 4, you see LeBron Nash move back to the 3, guys that maybe aren't going to be in as likely a spot to get into foul trouble defensively and are playing against guys that are closer to them, when it comes to what can you do with the basketball in your hand when you're on offense. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. I think point guard's an issue. No Marcus Smart, no Markel Brown to bail him out when he's not in there. But if they can figure out what to do with the point guard position, I think it's going to be fun to see what those Cowboys do. All right, one more from Trent. Trent says, you've seen the story about the idiot Kentucky fan that got a 2014 national championship tattoo before the NCAA tournament, although maybe more of an idol now than he was then, with the Seahawks fan getting a Super Bowl and a possible UK title. Is it possible to coax a Thunder super fan into one of these tattoos, Barry?
I don't recommend it. I'm not into this. I'm not into tattoos at all, and I'm not into...
Wait, I'm shocked. This is breaking news? You're not into tattoos?
Do you have a tattoo?
No.
Okay, I was just curious. Do you have a tattoo shop in Clay Center?
I don't think so.
I would hope not.
But I know where there's one in Oklahoma City if you want to go get some matching tattoos.
Here's the deal. Don't get a tattoo, but if you get one, wait until the team that you're following has won. The Kentucky fan looks like a cool dude now, but if Wisconsin puts a hurting on him, he's going to feel foolish. He's going to look foolish. Everybody's going to say, hey, you're an idiot after all. So wait until you're to celebrate. If you want to celebrate with a tattoo, wait until the games are over.
I would totally agree. But I got to tell you, I think I've met some Thunder super fans who would do it. If they felt like there was a chance that would be the answer to getting the Thunder a championship this year, they'd do it. I think some of you have seen some of the super fans. You know who they are. I'd go ask them. Check it out. See what they do. You might do it. You never know.
Talk anybody into anything.
Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.